if somebody is experiencing a miscarriage with their second child, what might they expect their first to be asking about?
Hers came out in very interesting ways. And, I had to take a step back and go, okay, this is how she's coping with it. She'd be in her room and I'd hear her crying. Oh. And I'd go in there and, she's almost 4 at this point. So she's still 3. And I'd say, why are you sad? And she'd say, and it's funny because we don't know if it was a boy or girl. It was too early on. She refers to it as a girl. And she named her Lacey. Because if we were having a girl, we were going to name her Lacey. So I'd go in there and be like, what's wrong? And she'd be like, oh, I'm really sad that Lacey died.
That's really hard to hear.
Yeah. There'd be other times where I'd walk by her room or be in the living room and hear her playing, and I'd hear her giggling and I'd hear her laughing. And she'd run out. There was a couple times she'd run out and say, Mommy, you wouldn't believe the pretty dress Lacey has on today.
Just got chills. So are you spiritual?
Yes.
So there are some people in the spiritual world, whether it's, if you're Christian or you practice other forms of spirituality. I happen to be Jewish, but I've heard it said that children are closest because the veil between the living world and the rest of the world, the other worlds, are thin. And so that they do talk to spirits sometimes or see things that we as adults can't.
Well, let me rewind and tell you something that happened before we miscarried. And I'm so mad at myself to this day that I didn't keep the paper. A week before we miscarried, my daughter was drawing. And she was drawing a stick figure picture. And she was very focused. We were in our bedroom. My husband was in there with us. And he was folding clothes or something, putting something away. And she was just sitting there drawing. And I asked her what she was drawing. And I looked. And it clearly was my husband, myself, and her. But we all had sad faces.
Oh.
And I said, why am I sad in the picture, honey? And she said, because the baby had to fly away.
Wow.
And mind you, I'm still pregnant at this point. And I looked at my husband and he knew exactly where my mind went. So he just started shaking his head like, don't go there. Calm down. And then I said, well, why is Daddy sad? And she said, because he couldn't stop the baby from flying away. And a week later, we miscarried. So take that as what you want. But, I took that piece of paper and not in front of her, I ripped it up away because I was like, no. This, hoping she didn't know something I didn't know, So I wanted it out of the house. And I'm mad I didn't keep it. But yeah, I believe that too. They know something.
Hi, I hope you loved this little excerpt of Stork'd, the podcast where we talk about all things family building and families. This was a little taste of the bigger episode. We call it a Stork'd Munchkin. If you love what you heard, I highly encourage you to check out the full episode wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also find it on the Stork'd website at storkdpodcast.com. If you're in the process of building your own family or exploring what family means to you and you want to stay up to date on all relevant topics related to family building, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. It's called Let's Start a Family, and it is found on Substack. Happy listening.